Welcome to the Brave New Wealth podcast, where we discuss reinventing wealth mentally, physically, socially, financially. I'm your host, Julienna. Bienvenue à tout le monde. Bienvenido a todos. Herzlich willkommen. Sawadee ka. No, I do not speak Thai, but I promised Sia, our producer, that I would try in Thai, and maybe I'll try a new language every time. So I hope everyone feels welcome here. This podcast is sponsored by Engineer Tax Services, where I am a director, and our goal is to empower real estate professionals, real estate investors, CPA advisors with proven expertise, with strategies that help you make sure that you do not overlook any of the tax strategies that will benefit you. And in each episode, I bring to you an expert who I know, who will share with us some insights that will help you elevate where you are. And today, I am really, really excited to have Jennifer Luney with us. And just to tell you a little bit about Jennifer, Jennifer is a senior private wealth banker with Bank of Texas in North Dallas. She has more than 25 years experience in the financial service and business development. She has built a reputation for guiding high net worth clients with integrity, insight, and strategic clarity. She helps them build, protect, and grow their legacies. As a proud Texas Tech University alum and a longtime resident of the Frisco Allen area, Jennifer combines Southern warmth with sharp financial acumen. Whether she's working with successful families, entrepreneurs, or corporate executives, her mission remains the same: to create meaningful impact, one relationship at a time. Now, as Jennifer's friend, I also know that she's very passionate about art and very involved in the arts, and she'll tell us more about this as we speak. So, Jennifer, welcome. Thank you for being willing to, to cut a little time out of your busy schedule to come and talk to us about who you are, what you do, what you're passionate about. So just to start you off, if you have just a minute, you enter a room and you have to introduce yourself, who would you say you are in just a minute?
Well, some people, I like to make people laugh. I like to make people smile, or I like to break the ice. So I usually say I'm depending on the room I'm walking into, because you just discussed the two halves of me, Jennifer Luney, or my banking and finance career. If I'm walking in that room, I say I'm Jennifer Luney. I'm the Looney banker from Bank of Texas Private Bank. And I usually try and follow up with I'm the best partner for financial advisors, insurance agents, and individuals of closely held companies and high net worth persons, basically. Because I feel like breaking the ice by saying I'm the Looney banker, people remember that, and it is my last name. So why not work on it? And banking these days is crazy. So why not work with a Looney banker? Now, if I'm walking in a room of artists in the art world, I typically introduce myself as Jennifer Luney, the director of finance for the Visual Arts Guild of Frisco, and I let them know that my superpower is supporting artists.
Wonderful. And I've seen you in both roles and how you shine and bring tremendous values to the people who are around you. So I'm excited to dig more into this. Now, something I like to ask before we delve into, your occupation and your passion is, what is something you've done lately that was a bit out of your comfort zone, but you told yourself, I'm going to do it. I know growth comes from stepping out of our comfort zone, and it can be something from the mental perspective, physical, social, financial, you pick. What comes to mind when you think about something you've done recently?
I have stepped out of my comfort zone many times in my life. Most recently, there were two that came to mind. One is I just changed roles to become a senior vice president and private banker at Bank of Texas just 10 months ago. So to take that leap of faith to move to another organization, this is my fifth financial institution in almost 30 years of my financial career. So each leap was out of my comfort zone. And some of them took a lot of time to think about and some mentor conversations with mentors before I made the leap. This one a little bit easier than some or most because there's some colleagues that I went to work for that I've worked with in the past. So, and the leap was not too far. It was across the street from my house, so it's like the first time I've ever had the opportunity to live, work, and play in, I'd say, a 10-mile radius of where I live because we're in the Dallas-Fort Worth market, you and I, where we sit today. It's very difficult when you live in Frisco, which is a suburb, a city just north of Dallas, to find that type of work. We moved to the suburb for a reason and out of the city, and all my work has been in the city. So the city sort of moved to me. You can see it behind me.
Yes.
I'm here at Granite Park in Plano, and I look at the mothership IKEA, which is the entrance of Frisco on the tollway. So making that leap of faith was a little bit more comfortable than some others, but it's still leaving something that I had known for quite a while, or an organization that I'd worked with for quite a while, building those friendships and collegial partnerships. That was definitely just thought it was going to be my last stop. So it was a leap out of the comfort zone. And the second one I can think of on the art side is I made the decision to, after being asked very kindly and considerately to consider a role as a treasurer for a larger nonprofit organization in Dallas, which keeps me connected in that bridge to Dallas. It's called the Cedars Union, and it is an arts incubator nonprofit in South Dallas that has a significantly larger opportunity of funds to manage financially as the treasurer, not as their banker, but as their legal treasurer for the board. And so that was stepping a little bit out of my comfort zone, going from a much larger balance sheet to help manage a nonprofit in the city of Dallas.
Well, these are big leaps and a big leap of faith. And but at the same time, I know your capabilities, and I know you're the perfect person to fill those roles. So I'm excited for you and all the growth and the new adventures that are going to come out of it. I'm sure it's going to be something great, just adding on to all the wonderful things you've done so far. Now, before we go into a little bit deeper into both those organizations, tell me what are some of the things, I know some of them, but that you do when you're not taking care, of the visual arts of Frisco, when you're not taking care of your banking clients. What are some of the things you do to refill yourself, refill your energy? What are you passionate about, and what fills you?
Well, I can't move far away from art.
Mm.
So it's fulfilling to enjoy art shows, exhibitions, art receptions, whether they be solo or group shows. I love to support the arts, whatever city or country that I happen to be visiting. I want to support them with my social media presence to let people know that I'm attending and you should too. And look what's out there. If you can't attend, please connect with these people or whatever resonates with you, whatever art speaks with you. It speaks to me. It's been a passion of mine for a very long time. I'm married to an artist. I was an artist. I worked in advertising and in the art world. So previous to my banking career. So it is not only relaxing, but it is also fulfilling to go to different art organizations and art events.
Mhm.
Most of the time, I would rather be in service. How can I help set up, clean up, promote, whatever it might be? But occasionally, just hanging out in a museum that I'm not managing or an art gallery that I'm not running, it's definitely more fulfilling. And then I would say travel for sure. I absolutely love to travel. I do not like the flight, but I love when I land and I get to explore. And there's always going to be something art related, an art studio, an art gallery, a museum, theater. There's something in the arts that's going to be associated with our travel. And then finally, my kids, I'm an empty nester. My kids are older and they're adults. So anytime I can spend with them now, which is few and far between, is definitely a passion. It's fulfilling. It's like proud parent moment whenever I'm able to spend time with them, either at their work or visit them. I visited them overseas when they were overseas. My son's in the military, so he travels a bit. My daughter works for different universities in the sports world, and I just love connecting with them. They're working in and around things that they're passionate about, and so that sort of just rubs off on me. And I really enjoy the opportunity to spend time with them when I'm not at work.
That's awesome. And I've really enjoyed, watching all the pictures from all of your travels and, your visit to different art places and also supporting you in your work when you have those exhibit where you do tremendous work. It's always a heavy lift. So we'll make sure to share all of these things, and what's happening. But that's, yeah. And of course, being a parent, there is no greater joy than being able to enjoy those precious moments with the children. Now, tell us a bit more about your journey in the financial industry. How did you land there? What motivated you in the first place to go there and how that passion grew? And just so we understand a little bit the beginnings of why you picked that industry and then maybe where you're at now. And I know we don't have we don't have hours and it's a lot,
Sure.
but if I'm giving you a little challenge here to condense that journey and maybe
Absolutely.
with the highlights.
The highlight is the Looney banker fell into a banking career through the marketing department of a bank. And about seven mergers and five institutions later is where I landed today. The majority of my finance banking career was either in the retail, what we call consumer bank, or the private bank of a commercial corporate bank. The different transitions in roles were either I was asked by leadership to move into a different role that they felt my expertise um, warranted I should be in that role, or I went for it. I said, I know I can do that, and I'm going to move to this role or move to this organization. I was sought after for every role except for one. And I feel like that one leap that I took is the reason why I was sought after in other organizations to transition, to make different transitions. Some of them took 2 years for me to make the decision, and some of them took 2 months. So it really depended on where I was at the time in my life. Did I have kids at home? Was I married at the time? Where did I live? What was the commute? But truly working in the advertising and marketing world and moving into the marketing department of a bank that just went through a merger and there wasn't another marketing role unless I moved out of state. And at the time, my family could not move. I just took the next available role in that company until I moved up to where I knew we could transition into either a better financial or professional role, or I just asked. I'd asked my leadership. I went through coaching. I've had mentorship at all of these institutions, and some of them have moved and offered me jobs or offered for me to go with them, to take me with them on their team. And sometimes it was a yes, sometimes it was maybe, sometimes it was later, sometimes it was never. So it really just depended. But it truly started through the marketing department of a bank.
That's Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I appreciate how you seem to have that really great trust in yourself and your ability to transition, be flexible, and know where you can add value. I mean, I love to see how you have that confidence in yourself and your abilities, which can be hard sometimes. And that's why people sometimes get stuck in places where they don't want to be, or so I appreciate that. Now, do you still focus a lot on the marketing side now? Or what is your focus areas now?
So I am a relationship manager as a private banker with Bank of Texas, and that's the role that I have been in, or one of the roles I've been in for the entire time I've been in financial services.
Mhm.
I have a portfolio of clients. I'm building a portfolio of clients. So I work with clients that already exist at Bank of Texas, whether they be on the commercial or consumer bank, corporate bank side, they might be a mortgage client. And depending on their level of either cash flow or their liquidity, as some people might see it, they may segment really well with what's called private banking.
Mhm.
Typically, that means we're working with high net worth or ultra high net worth individuals that need complex solutions in their banking and their lending. Occasionally, they might even need investment services and insurance services and things like that. Sometimes I can help them internally. Most of the time, it may be externally. So it's about meeting with the clients, helping them with their financial planning. And to me, that's all encompassing of a relationship manager. I'm looking at your relationship with your finances. I'm looking at your relationship with your family, your legacy planning. What are your wants, needs, and wishes? And how can we support that with either referring you to someone internally or working with somebody externally to help you meet those goals? And as a relationship manager, my main job is to listen, it's to learn, and then it is to digest the information and ensure that I'm bringing in the right partners to be seated at the table with those clients to create the right solutions. And sometimes the solution is we're not the right fit because I'm not the right fit for everyone. And I understand that. But because I've been around the financial world in the state of Texas and especially in the DFW area, I have a lot of colleagues and resources that can be helpful. I never want a client to just be left hanging and not know where they need to go financially. So I manage that relationship with the client. If they have a business, a closely held business, and they need certain business products, a merchant services, some type of lending need, sometimes we can help them in the private bank and we have a solution. Sometimes they need to bring in an internal or external partner. But I love being that one point of contact, that sort of one-stop shop. And I love when people say the my banker is the Looney banker. And I think most people that I work with, if they want to work with me, enjoy saying that as well. And those are the types of clients that I love to attract. But some understand that there's still some seriousness and complexity to what I do, but I want to be lighthearted about it. So every day is how do I build relationships with my existing clients and how do I go out and find or work with my referral sources, my centers of influence on helping them be a resource for them, bring those clients in and really we should all be on the same page. We're all trying to help our clients with their current financial situations. How can we help them? Maybe it's a buy sell situation, maybe it's a legacy, retirement, financial planning situation. I know I can't be everything to everyone, but I would love the opportunity to at least have a discussion to see if we are a right fit.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. So, with that, that's a lot of offerings that you have. And I do appreciate that you also know not everyone's a good fit. And I'll be honest about that. I'm happy to show you a different route that will add the value that you're seeking for. I think it's super important to be that open with the clients and the people we work with. Now, I'm interested to know also what are some of the mistake maybe business owners or investors make along the way that you've been able to maybe offset that by the knowledge that you have or helping them not jump into a direction that could have been very difficult or painful. Like we all have challenges in our industries, and the advisory piece is so important, but I want to have your perspective on what have you noticed maybe more commonly, like something that you wish more business owners, investors would do.
Not using the resources that are complementary, right? So the bank pays my salary, not the client. So why not have me at the table? Why not ask me for my expertise and ask for the experts to be brought to the table that either Bank of Texas or BOKF, which is Bank of Oklahoma Financial, might be able to assist them with? The bank they're working with, bankers that they're referred to, bring them into your office, bring them into your conversations, introduce them to your tax advisor, have a tax advisor, introduce them to your attorney, have an attorney. Try not to cut too many corners, especially those that are absolutely complementary. And most bankers that I work with, especially private bankers, commercial bankers, they're not sales people, they're relationship managers. They truly want to find the right fit and the right solution. They don't want the runaround any more than the client does. I would say any business owner that thinks they know everything and doesn't want to research, doesn't want to add anybody to their table of conversation, they're cutting themselves off from information, from resources, from referral sources. I can be a referral source for my clients' business, absolutely. And we can even introduce them to people outside of the bank that might be able to be great referral sources as well. Thinking that they have all the clients that they will ever need is also another mistake, and stopping their professional networking at whatever level that needs to be, local chamber of commerce, all the way up to I'm a member of Provisors, a professional networking organization, to online networking, to saying I don't have time to networking. There's way too many opportunities to network and be involved. And to not that this is the last one I'll put on the list, and to not have a servant leader heart. So you're in your business and you're building your business and your head's down and you're focused, and maybe you had that attorney meeting and you had that banker meeting and you had that tax advisor meeting, but you're not serving the community outside of your actual product or service. So what are you passionate about? Because to me, if it's serving your community in the homeless community, if you're serving children or somewhere where there's food scarcity, water. For me, it's art. Artists are business owners. Biggest problem with an artist is asking them, "Are you a business owner?" And they say, "No, I'm not." Yes, you are a business owner. So, how are you able to serve with your expertise, with your business knowledge, with your resources, with your COIs? How are you able to introduce those people in service? So, I feel like sometimes I feel like it's a mistake to not then give back. And I say give back, be present, which means serve now, and then pay it forward with your time, with your talent, with your treasure, with your ties, which is all of the people that you know and the resources that you have. I think that's really important. And then if possible, with your platform, right? With your the way you can communicate with people. So if you're in business and you're not doing that piece, that really important piece of bringing people around the table with you, that community, I feel like it boxes people in. I feel like it also is what burns people out.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Yes. And I love how you do that because, on one side, yes, you help those who maybe have the least needs because they kind of have it all, and they're pretty comfortable, and it's different type of challenges. But on the other hand, you don't forget that there are those who are not there, and may have different needs, and the way you manage to spread yourself on both ends, it's quite remarkable. And I've seen you do it, whether it's with the artists or people around you, connection you have. You've done it for me as well. Like, anytime you see a path to help someone, whether it's within your area of expertise or no, you're the first one to say, "Hey, I've got something for you." So I appreciate that, and I think I agree with you that we should all be like that. We should all be like that. Okay, let's switch gear a little bit and tell us about how you got into, more involved into the arts. You've already said you've always been passionate with arts. You consider yourself an artist as well with some of the things you've done. Art is everywhere, and I agree with that. I'm from also Europe, and it doesn't matter where you're from, but that's where I grew up. And it's all around and everywhere in the architecture, and you kind of breathe that. But for you, at what point do you make that switch to where I think I want to weigh myself and have some influence in that area as well?
Mhm. So I'm married to an artist who is a photographer, a professional photographer, fine arts photographer. Some say, what's the difference? Professional business photographer is going to be your events photographer, your headshot photographer, your marketing materials, right? Product photographer. And your fine arts photographer, his fine art is landscapes predominantly, film and digital. And then the professional photographer side is also the educator. So he teaches how to use different programs that have to do with photography, like editing programs, how to use a digital camera, advanced if you want to be more of a professional photographer. And we found the Visual Arts Guild of Frisco accidentally, but on purpose, because everything has a purpose, through an art festival that we used to have in Frisco. So the Frisco Arts Association, what it was called at the time, sort of covers all of the arts and helps support all of the arts and culture in the city of Frisco. And my kids were in music. And so I was involved with their music and their sports as they were growing up. And once they started not needing me as much, we found this Frisco Arts Association. And underneath that umbrella was one of their grant recipients called the Visual Arts Guild of Frisco. And they had a couple of exhibitions a year that you could submit your artwork to, photography being a fine art. And they also had educational art related speaker meetings every single month, and a great way to connect and create a network of artists of all different shapes and sizes, of all different mediums, emerging to professional, side hustle to hobbyist to, professional gallerists. So it was all levels, all kinds of people, a very open community, but very specifically visual arts. And so I think this is the perfect niche for him. I was a professional photographer years ago in my advertising life. And so I was very familiar with taking my own pictures, using a very old camera, buying film, developing my own film. I did creative and design and sales for advertising, for print and for radio before I got into the marketing department of a bank. And then my career went more finance related. So I thought this is a way to bring out that creative side of me and to help him with his photography and fine art side of his business. Let's put some of your artwork in or submit, as it's called, some of your artwork to some of these calls for art. He did. He won several awards. And then we both got very involved with how we can support the local arts right here in our city of Frisco, but also North Texas as a whole, which it covers Dallas, Fort Worth, Salina, Prosper, Allen, the whole area, right? All the counties, Denton and Collin counties up here. So with that, he ended up getting on the board for the Visual Arts Guild of Frisco. And in 2020, with the pandemic, unfortunately, folks having to leave their art as a business or leave the area to find greener pastures for their art, whatever that might be. And so board positions became available. I put my hand up and said, you need someone with banking experience to help with treasurer. I'm happy to do that. And once I really dug in 20 into 2020 and the beginning of 21, and saw some programming that was desired by the artist. We'd started doing surveys, both in person and online, and found out all the different programs that the artist either really needed or wanted. Some of them we tried and they didn't work, and some of them we tried and they absolutely worked. And so I just sort of became the treasurer and programs director for the Visual Arts Guild of Frisco as we moved into this new world that we have after, post pandemic. And so for me, I could take the expertise that I know working with business owners, working in finance and banking over the years, lending, investments, insurance, and I could lend that to the entrepreneurs, including my husband, who have, and they are true entrepreneurs. So even if they work with a gallery, it's still they're manufacturing their own product, right? It's their widget, it's their product, and it only comes from them. They can only create it. They are the original. And so then how do you market that? And what's the tax consequences with that? And how do you run that as a business? And do you do an LLC or a DBA or an S Corp? And then how do you handle legal and copywriting and marketing and social media? And I can just go through the list. So artists are business owners. So how can I take what I've learned and not only help my husband, but all these friends in the arts that I've met through the Visual Arts Guild of Frisco, and then how can I bridge Frisco to the Allen, Dallas, Austin, Houston, and then maybe even to the Louisiana, Oklahoma, Kansas? How can we get our artists information, education, and then how can we get their art out, to the world? So it's just been using my expertise to give back and be a servant leader. And I feel like to me, that's what makes the world go round.
Well, that is wonderful. I love how you do that. I love how you bring all that you have and really try to empower those within your reach. And you're very, very passionate about it. Put your actions where, your mouth is. And that's what I really appreciate with you. Now, we don't have a lot of time left. I have a couple
Mhm.
more questions for you.
Sure.
Tell us about what is coming up soon with the visual art for people here, right here in the area. What is coming up that we need to pay attention to so we can come and support?
Oh, I appreciate it because, like I mentioned, I found the Visual Arts Guild of Frisco because of an art festival.
Hmm.
And that art festival did not come back post pandemic.
Okay.
And so I waited a couple of years for it to come back, did some research, and as I mentioned, surveyed. went to several arts and crafts and arts and music festivals. And the city of Frisco, for those that don't know, has been coined Sports City USA. So we have a ton of sports, professional and minor league sports programs and headquarters here, and not a lot of wall space and no full-time galleries. So how can we honor the mission of the Visual Arts Guild of Frisco to provide visual artists the opportunity to showcase and promote their artwork as well as engage the community in the arts without having exhibitions and having wall space? Well, we're going to have to create that wall space. We're going to have to create a space where the community can come together, the artist community come together to learn from each other and meet each other and create resources and networks. And then the community that can come together to enjoy, engage, be inspired by, and collect from local artists original art. So, what's coming up is Art in the Arena, one of the concepts that we came up with a year ago. This is the second annual Art in the Arena Frisco. It is inside the Dallas Stars Comerica Center Arena in Frisco. It's a massive, hockey basketball arena. And we have 10 by 10 booths that artists can register for to sell their art. They're going to display, and the art is for sale. 2 days of the 3-day event is absolutely free for the public to come in. And we picked the hottest month of the year, August, to do this. So people do not have to be at an outside art festival, nor do they have to be choosing the artist or the community which art festival I'm going to, because March through probably this time in June is all you're going to get for art festivals in Texas and some of the surrounding states because it just gets so hot. And the weather is unpredictable in Texas no matter the time of year. So, for educational purposes, for the artists, and for the community to engage with the artists, we are inside in an air conditioned facility with free parking garage and free entry on Saturday and Sunday, August 23rd and August 24th. We also have a VIP night with dinner included for anyone who would enjoy shopping, coming to the first opening night, coming to an art reception with art awards, the very first night kickoff. It's called Night in the Arena or Art in the Arena on Friday, August the 22nd. I want to make sure I get my dates right. So it's August 22nd through the 24th right here in Frisco, Texas. It's on our website, vagf.org. It has its own separate link for the event, but that's our largest event of the year. And we really would love to have thousands of people flood that arena and really enjoy the art and take home some pieces that speak to them.
That's wonderful. So I've been to some of the previous ones, and I love it. It's incredible meeting with the artists and learning about their stories. It's just amazing what you all are doing, and to have visibility really on what is happening, what is going on. And unless you go to places like that, it's very hard to go from gallery to gallery because they all have their own space where they work, and to and I've seen some of them, but to bring them together like that, it's, a service for the community to get to know who who they want to support, who they like, and like you say, who speaks to them. All
Yeah.
right. So one more question I have for you is, what are some of your hopes and goals? And I think you kind of put some in between as you were speaking, but for this year, what are some of, and we're like well into the year, and, there's half left. What are some of your goals and hopes, and that will help me and the listeners know how to support you in what you're wanting to accomplish this year?
Well, twofold, because I have my
Mhm.
banking career at Bank of Texas. So I would love the opportunity to discuss whether or not we're the right fit for your clients, your referral sources, your COIs. And we just moved up to the 13th floor of lucky 13th floor of Granite Park. And so we're going to be having an open house, and we have an opportunity to have meetings in person with folks because we're handling some very sophisticated clients, and a lot of them want the handshake and they want to meet
Mhm.
in person, and we can do that. But we're also with the times and technology, so we can have Zoom meetings with clients all over the country. So
Mhm.
we're not just a Texas-based organization. So there's one way to support is how can I actually help support you and your resources with education and experience experts in the bank and financial world. As far as the art world, You can go to our website and you can check out our events calendar. I would say 99% of everything that we do is open and free to the public. We want people of all ages to experience visual art, visual artists, especially with Art in the Arena. It makes it easy. There's going to be 60 artists with their own booths, as well as a Frisco ISD art student juried art reception and some professional art receptions, and jurors will be there and so forth. So to me, support is about, if you can, show up. If you can't, share it out.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so, so much, Jennifer. I'm very, very grateful you came and shared of yourself and your expertise and your experience. And I know there is a lot more. So I hope that you'll be wanting to come again and, maybe talk about what happened during the festivals and the art
Sure.
exhibits and some of those experiences. So
Mhm.
thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it. It's great to see you and your beautiful smile.
Well, thank you. Back at you. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Brave New Wealth with Jennifer Luney. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you did. Leave a comment, a like, share with someone you think might benefit from the information that was shared today. Make sure you get a hold of Jennifer if you have private banking needs. And make sure you mark your calendar for August 22nd to 24th for the Visual Arts Guild of Frisco event, their biggest event of the year at the Stars. And it's all on their website. And it will be in the notes, so make sure that you get that information. This podcast is sponsored by Engineer Tax Services, where we serve CPA, real estate investors, advisors, helping them with tax strategies that are often overlooked, more sophisticated, especially with all the changes in legislations. We are here to help. So make sure you get a hold of us so we can help you. I hope you will join me for the next episode. À bientôt.